All right, y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hopefully you're a returning customer, viewer, whatever those YouTube fancy terminology terms are. But either way, thanks for dropping in to check out this video. You know, if you don't mind, click that little thumbs up button, drop a comment, all that good stuff. It really helps me out, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Charter Arms. You know, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm never really thought a whole lot about Charter Arms. As a matter of fact, this is only the second Charter Arms revolver that I've owned. The first one was what they call a third generation one. I think probably, I don't know, 2000 and up or so is what I think most people call the newer generation Charter Arms. But it's the ones that you see like at the gun show, or a store that happens to sell them, Warren Gunbreaker or Buds, where they have all the different colors of the 38s, and then they have the Boomer, they still make the Bulldog, which is the 44 special version. I thought it was a pretty decent revolver. I've held plenty of them, looked at them at gun stores, and the newer ones, I can tell you, yeah, you know, they're a little rough when it comes to fit and finish, but by all accounts, they seem to be a pretty good company. They stand behind their product, and really, I hear a lot more good feedback on the newer Charter Arms weapons versus like some of the Taurus, when Taurus was going through some of the issues they went through for so many years. You know, a lot of people didn't like Taurus for a long time, but I'll be the first to tell you too that Taurus has turned it around. You know, they're turning out some really good firearms nowadays. But we all had you know, some Taurus revolvers and whatnot that you know, weren't the best that there was around. This one's an older one. You can tell this is a Pathfinder in 22 WMRF. That stands for Winchester Magnum Rimfire, also known as 22 Magnum. Let's go ahead and do a quick safety check for those of you guys who are worried I might shoot you through the screen. You can see that there's nothing in the cylinder on it. And this one is marked, let me see here. Let's take a closer look here. Charter Arms Corp, Stratford, Connecticut. So I have emailed Charter Arms. I tried to call them and give them the serial number and see if they could tell me what year it was made. I haven't heard back from them, but it's pretty common knowledge that the serial number ranges. This one's 649,584. This means this revolver was made somewhere between 1974 and 1991. Going into it, you'll find out that 1974 started with serial number 315,000, and then 91 was a serial number 1,088,000. So I would hypothesize that this is probably late 70s, early 80s, maybe mid 80s, somewhere in there. This is the generation that they call the first generation of Charter Arms. And most people who like these weapons will tell you that these are the ones to own. And after handling this one compared to one of the newer ones, I will say that I'm in that same boat too. Now, this one, in another quick way, is no shroud around the ejector rod. See that? No shroud around the ejector rod on it. And also, another way is, well, the finish itself. This one actually has, I know it's kind of hard to tell on camera here, but this one actually has a pretty decent blued finish on it, really. I mean, this is a nicer blued finish than I've seen on some newer Smith & Wessons. Now, of course, not Smith & Wessons back in the day, but yeah, folks, this isn't a bad blued finish at all on this one. And you know, case hardened hammer. This one had a little bit of corrosion getting a hold of it once upon a time, it looks like, and I'll probably try to take some efforts to get that off. And probably I hit it with some Ballistol when I first got it. And also, unfortunately, someone named CWL whoever you are, was kind enough to put his initials or her initials on this revolver once upon a time. So, and I apologize. I'm sure you hear my dog barking in the background. I'm just going to kind of talk through it. There's someone out in the street that he seems to be barking at. But yeah, you know, this is, again, this is a 22 mag. And folks, this is a nice little revolver. I just got this on trade just a little while back. And, you know, one thing I will notice about it, and then this close-up, is that the bluing on the cylinder, I don't know how well y'all can see that. You can tell that the cylinder, the bluing on the cylinder, is not quite the same level of bluing on the rest of the revolver. But yeah, closer look at it, and this is just an eyeballing video. You can see it has recessed cylinders. Isn't that nice? Extractor, it won't pop them out as far as it should for Magnums to eject them out, but it'll be enough to where you can shake them out at least. And look at this crazy extractor. I noticed this when I was doing a once through on this one. It's like a 2-stage. See that? I thought that was pretty interesting. Tell you another thing that's kind of unique about these two is how they're constructed. Can y'all look at this and tell me what you see that's odd about this compared to a normal revolver, particularly on this side? Let's follow it over right here. There's no seam, meaning that there are no two halves for this revolver. It doesn't have a side plate on it. The way this is constructed is that it's two plates, I guess, you know, sandwiched together like this, and then they have the trigger housing, which the trigger housing right here is aluminum, I believe, is slid up between them, and then it's pinned and screwed together. Pretty simple design. You know, it seems to work okay for the purposes for this one. And I guess it's worked okay for Charter Arms for quite a few years because they're still, I believe they're still making them that same way. You can see this one has the original Charter Arms grips. Now, they did make these with the grips that have the front strap and the back strap of the frame exposed, much smaller. I might try one of those at one point in time, but you know, I have like medium hands, and these actually fit. They feel pretty good. They feel pretty good to me, and they're in damn good shape. I suspect strongly that this one probably sat in someone's safe or in someone's sock drawer or something like that for a number of years. It might have been carried a little bit in a holster, given this wear on this. And if this is aluminum, I'll touch this up with some of the Birchwood KC aluminum black anodized little touch-up pin thing. You know, got a nice little crown on the muzzle end. You know, I couldn't find a lot of information about the Pathfinders beyond discussions on the older forums online and things like that. There certainly is not a lot of videos about these. They made them in 22 Magnum and 22 long rifle, of course. You know, the trigger on this one seems pretty decent. You know, I won't dry fire it, but it does feel like a pretty decent trigger. It's definitely nicer than some of the Taurus triggers I've encountered, even recently on that. Let's take a look at the weight on this one, just to see. And this is something I'm curious about because I have not weighed this one. Oh, I thought my batteries might be dead on me for a second. Okay, looks like they might be getting a little weak. 19.4 ounces. That's not bad. Not bad weight. Size reference-wise, I would call this somewhere around maybe about a JFrame size. Let's get a JFrame out here and we'll take a quick look at it. And boom. As for a JFrame, one will appear. This is a Model 60. Model 60 JFrame from 1970. And I don't want to bang these up against each other doing a side-by-side comparison, but you can see, yeah, it's probably actually a little bit smaller than a standard J-frame. And keep in mind, this is a 1970 J-frame, which means that, and it is 38 special, so the cylinder is short. most JFrames nowadays have a longer cylinder because they use the same frame for 357 Magnum revolvers. So, and obviously, you know, being a 22 mag, this cylinder would be much shorter. But yeah, I mean, frame size, and I know this is hard for y'all to see there in the camera. Yeah, I think it's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit smaller than the JFrame. Looking at overall dimensions, like from here to here, and then definitely the amount of meat in front, of course. But then this is a 38 special. This one's a 22 Magnum. But, and you know, another thing I like about this, and I'm just sitting here rambling at this point, is, hey, you know what? That's a little pencil barrel, isn't it? Look at that. Look at the nice little taper on that. So, what I'm saying, y'all, is, you know, hey, don't knock these older Charter arms. If you can, I tell you one that I would love to find would be the Son of Sam revolver, the 44 special, and I'll be darned if the Bulldog 44 special. I would love to find a 44 special from the 70s, no shroud on your underlug, with the same bluing and the same type of grips as this. That would be a pretty nice little score. I have a sneaking suspicion I can find one at one of the gun shows here in the Houston area, and I have a even stronger suspicion that if I find one, I'm going to have to pay for it. This one, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't have a lot in the trade-in value on it, probably about $265. Met the great guy when I traded it for him. You know, I consider him a friend now, and yeah, you know, so I think I got a pretty good deal on this one. Let me know what you guys think. And if you know CWL, let him know that I have his Pathfinder now, and he can't have it back. Unless he asks real nice. If he asks real nice and then pays me some money for it, maybe I'll give it back to him. But let's take a zoom in, and we're going to do a quick pan over it, and then I'll shut up. You can see my light ring up above it, you know, doing some pretty good reflections. Let's turn that off for this portion. See if that helps. Let's try it like this. Yeah, let's try it like that. Adjustable sights. That's a nice little plus. Let's look at that sight picture. Pretty decent sight picture. And I tell you, I love that case hardened hammer look. I mean, that is nice. The flutes in the cylinder, you can tell they're not polished as fine. And you can look at some of the areas in the frame. You see, you know what? They didn't sit there and hand polish this like they did what might have done at Colt or someplace like that back in the day. But I tell you, it's still pretty impressive for what a lot of people snub as a cheaper revolver. And again, I'll touch this up with some of that black anodizer. But I think this one might be a keeper. You know, like most gun guys, whenever I get something in trade in particular, you know, you run through the debates like, well, should I trade it on or should I keep it? And yeah, I think this is going to be a keeper. I would like to have the Smith & Wesson equivalent of this someday. I can't remember the model number of it right now, but Smith made a small, I'm wanting to say it's a JFrame. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think they made it in 3-inch and 4-inch barrel. It was a nice little 22 Magnum. I saw one years ago, and man, I tell you what, those things are just pricey nowadays. Any of those old Smiths are just kind of pricey. So until then, this might have to fit that little groove. One other thing I want to touch on with Charter Arms is where I think is light years ahead of Taurus in particular. Their customer service is supposed to be amazing. Hopefully I never have to use them. I'm not even sure if this would still be covered. I honestly really don't know what their new warranty is on their new guns. But I'll look it up and I'll try to drop in the video right here and let you all know. But from what I've heard on their new firearms, if you do have an issue with it, they are very easy to deal with. everybody in the forum says they usually give you anywhere from like 5 to 10 day turnaround. You know, once they get the gun, 5 to 10 days later, they have it repaired and coming back to you, or they have a new gun headed your way. And we all know the nightmare of dealing with Taurus. Well, maybe we don't, but I can tell you this. With Taurus, you're lucky if you get a response in 5 to 10 days on an inquiry. I know that's brutal, but that's the way it is. Maybe they've upped their game. You know, this is 2022, and I'll admit, yeah, I haven't dealt with them in a few years. Maybe Taurus has upped their game now, and nowadays they're giving better customer service. But yeah, I don't know for sure. Let me know what y'all think. Do you like these Charter Arms? Have you ever owned one? Give me your thoughts on them. As I said, I think this one's going to go in the keeper pile. I mean, it's not a, it's not a Smith, of course, but hey, it's a nice little gun, and it could be had at a price that probably, you probably couldn't get close to a Smith then. What's this valued at right now? Honestly, looking at what these have sold for on Gunbroker, given the condition of this one, minus Mr. City Water and Light, putting his initials on here. But yeah, I mean, I would think this one is probably worth $450, maybe a little bit more, in the hands of the right buyer. But again, it's going in the keeper pile, and that's where it's going to stay. Thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate you taking the time to look at these videos that I do. Drop some questions in the comments if you have anything. And most importantly, be safe out there and have fun. Take care.